Yeah, it's about that time of day again. Welcome back to your nightly newsletter, boys and girls. Joseph James here. Monday evening, May 11th, 2015. In tonight's newsletter, crude oil, bearish, but trading inside of a trading range this evening on the black gold. That means with that bearish trend, we're looking for selling opportunities up at the highs of the range. But be careful because we've got some traps waiting for us on the crude down at the lows of the range. We'll take a look at that chart in just a moment. How about the gold? The yellow metal, also bearish this evening, also trading inside a range, very similar to crude oil, which means be careful. Don't fall for those traps on gold in Tuesday's session. And stay patient. We're trying to sell those highs of the range right now on gold. We'll define what that range is in just a few moments here on the yellow metal. How about the euro? The 6E, the euro futures, bearish this evening as well. Our plan is to sell the resistance overhead. We're also going to use those support levels below for targets. We've got a bear channel, a trading range, and a measured move to work with tomorrow on the euro. Get a jam-packed newsletter in store for you guys. Please remember, everything we're going to talk about tonight, I teach all of our students here at schooloftrade.com how to not only set up the charts, but how to find the patterns, how to enter and exit, and do everything in a safe and effective environment. So come out and join us here at School of Trade. Also, 3 important things I want to remind you guys. Make sure you're watching this video over on our trading blog here at sidewaysmarkets.com. If you're not watching the video on our trading blog, there are 3 very important reasons why you should be watching this video over here on Sideways Markets. First of all, you can get access to all the charts that I'm going to be talking about in tonight's video. They're attached right below the video here. That way you can have those charts at your disposal whenever you need them in the future, tomorrow morning, for example. Second thing, upper left-hand corner. If you're not a member here at schooloftrade.com and you're curious, what does it feel like to be in our trade room? I've got a free pass for you for all you non-School of Trade members that want a free trial of our trade room. Grab that free pass. And of course, last but not least, third thing, right above my ugly mug, you'll see a spot there for the name and your email address to be added to our nightly newsletter mailing list. Just be aware, though, if you do register for the mailing list or if you grab your free pass, I'm going to send you a verification email. Make sure you're not a robot and make sure I have the correct email address. So double check your email inbox. I'll be sending you a verification email if you join the newsletter or the free pass. All right, guys. Happy Mother's Day one more time out there to all the moms out there. I hope you guys had a great Mother's Day weekend. Boy, you guys, I guess I said you gals, right, should definitely get more than one day per year. But I'm just here for the dancing. So happy Mother's Day to you, to all the moms out there. You guys are certainly incredible people, and what a difficult job you guys have. Anyways. Back on track here. Euro is bearish this evening, starting out with the euro, the 6E, the euro futures. Euro bearish this evening. Our plan is to sell resistance levels overhead and use those support levels below for profit targets. We have a bear channel, a trading range, and a measured move to keep an eye on here as we go into Tuesday's session. First of all, very easy to see the channel here. Right, very easy to see the channel, right? The weight-bearing trend line is the resistance trend line. That's the most important trend line. Then we have a measured move. Yep. Measured move, A, B, C, D. Okay, looking good there. Okay, very simple so far, right? So we know we're going to have some support down here just below the 1100 area. And then we have this trading range. And this trading range, I think, is probably the most important, maybe not the most important. I think the most important is going to be that directional channel. But this trading range is very important because what do we know about a range? We know that the direction we're leading into a trading range, I teach all of this, of course, in my free trial, by the way, here at School of Trade. We're going into that trading range here. Moving lower, that means I'm going to be looking for selling opportunities, right? Selling opportunities. So I can take this trading range, I can copy and paste, and I can expand out that range both up and down. As you can see here, we've got some range expansion levels overhead, 1241 and 1207. Keep an eye on those for excellent areas of resistance that we'll be looking for. Now remember, we don't just blindly sell at resistance. Resistance is where we expect the sellers to react. So we wait for the reaction, and we have either a reversal pattern, a failed buying pattern, or the last one, we can wait for the turn and then take the continuation pattern on the way down, right? There are a few different opportunities up at that resistance level overhead. Now, if we go lower, of course, now we know what our plan is if we go higher here, right? Wait for the turn or wait for the failure, and we're looking to get short. What if price goes lower? Well, if price goes lower, this is where that trading range really comes in handy. Because what do we know about the first time it's going to try to break out of that range? It's likely going to fail. Okay, first time we try to break out of a range, it's likely going to fail. Just like it failed here, it failed there, right? So that's why our best bet here is to wait for a breakout and a retrace back to test the low of that range before we look for a selling opportunity, right? That'll be the highest percentage way to get short on the way down, right? You don't want to sell that low, right? Well, then we see we have this friendly little support area here, right? 1142 down to 1109. So it's really going to be difficult for you sellers to get short on this if we go lower first. Okay, so just be careful about that, right? Again, you're going to have traps waiting for you down at the lows, and you've got this big, scary support level here, right? That's clearly going to most likely deter quite a few people. Now, the only thing we may have is that breakdown, that retest. So definitely be looking for a retest of that range low, but wait for the breakdown before we go looking for that short. That way we're not trying to sell the low, right, of that trading range. Okay, so again, very challenging here if we just roll lower here because, we've got support here, we've got support here. We really want to see this price get up and then come back on down. So be looking for those resistance areas overhead. That's what's going to make for the easy profit here trading the euro. Shall we keep going? I hope you said yes, because we got some more charts here ready to rock and roll. Moving from the euro to the gold this evening. Gold is also bearish. Everything here looking pretty bearish here. Gold is bearish, trading inside a range this evening. Our plan, just like it was here on the euro, is to sell resistance levels overhead and then use support levels below for profit targets. Okay, I see three of the very same clues on this chart. Now I get to zoom out a little bit further on this. There you go. And not a very good job there, but you can kind of see here the bear channel. Okay, again, the resistance trend line is the weight-bearing trend line. It's the most important trend line you see on this one. So we got the channel. That tells me overall direction. Okay, we're definitely making lower highs, right? We can see we're definitely making those lower highs, but we're really just making some double bottoms here, right? Some symmetrical lows here. So you'll notice it is a descending triangle, which is perfectly fine with me, but just make sure you're aware that there is clearly something here hanging out, some support here that apparently is just not ready to budge here at 78.4. So keep that in your toolbox for tomorrow. So again, bear channel tells me direction. Measured move gives me a nice set of targets down here, right? We can definitely see here we got some support at 75 to 71. I've got 71.9 is that measured move support target. So we definitely know exactly where we're expecting this price will want to go. And then you got the third thing here. Now the third thing we see is we have the trading range. Now trading ranges, just like channels, we tend to rotate, right? From the highs to the lows, to the highs to the lows, right? Back on down. So low up to high, high down to low, low to high, high to low. Okay, so here we are. We're going from the low up to the high. Okay, then back down to the low. Got it. So where do you think we might be looking to go next? Yeah, I'm going to go out on the limb here and say, ooh, back to the high. Okay, so we're looking for selling opportunities up around this high, right? We're looking for selling opportunities up around the highs of this trading range. Nice and easy. Nothing really new here. bearish channel, bearish trend, but inside of a range, very similar to what we saw in Euro. Now we really zoom in a little bit closer and we see, wait a second, we have a bit of a short-term channel here after a very bullish reaction to that low, right? So you can definitely see the sellers didn't have anything on those buyers at those lows. Those buyers were clearly there to defend that low at 78.4. So with that said, we're expecting price to rotate back up to its highs before we have a chance to sell it right back down to its lows. Now, you might be asking, Joe, why not just buy those lows? Don't we know it's going to rotate? Well, nothing's ever guaranteed, right? That's the reality of this world. And if I have to choose in a bearish trend, yeah, I don't really like to buy in a bearish trend. I like to sell in a bearish trend. So, these are some of those easy little rules that we abide by. That would be the reason why I wouldn't buy that low. I mean, you could, right? But it'll be a lower percentage trade. So we're more apt to make easy money by waiting for price to go up and sell those highs. And with this short-term channel, we can definitely see we're there. So I would definitely be looking for a measured move. No way of telling up front, no way of telling ahead of time. After all, we're a good 18 hours ahead of tomorrow's opening bell on gold right now. So I'll be looking for this measured move, right? A, B, C, D. That'll give you a general area up here. You can combine that with my 89.8, 91.3, 90.7, and 91.9. So bottom line is I would love to get price to go up so I could sell it back down, go up so I can sell it back down, okay? But be careful as it goes lower, right? If it just turns around and goes lower, this is another very similar scenario to what we're seeing on the euro, where we really got to be careful, right? You're going to get a lot of traps down here, right? So what's going to happen is you'll see the sellers try once and it fails, try twice, it fails, right? You got to really wait for it to nice break of those lows and then wait for a retest of that low, right? We call that a breakout pullback pattern, okay? That's a relatively simple pattern there. Wait for the trigger though. Be very, very, very suspicious of those traps down here at those lows, okay? We're really going to be on the lookout for the proper entry trigger to take this thing short. And again, we've got some great targets waiting for us, such as that measured move support target there at 71.9. So we definitely have some reasons to look for those trades. So bottom line, guys, if price just sits here in the middle, be very careful tomorrow on gold. Sit on those hands. If price goes up, we're waiting for it to reverse and then start selling it back down. If price goes lower, we're being very careful at these lows not to take the bait, right, and get trapped in at these lows just to see it come right back up again. So we're going to take our time, wait for the breakout pullback if we even get it. Sometimes we don't get it. Sometimes it just torches those lows and keeps on going. So we'll be playing it definitely by whatever current price action we see tomorrow morning if we can get below those 78.4. But as we look at it this time, though, price should go up to those highs and then give us a chance to bring this thing right back down. Whether or not it gets up to this channel resistance, up to the range resistance, right? We're looking for failures of the buyers up at these highs, up a resistance. So relatively easy strategy here for us on the yellow metal going into tomorrow's time. Let's see here, what else we got? About crude. Shall we, Mr. Crude? Boy, a lot going on here on this crude chart right now, but again, a lot of the same stuff. A lot of the same stuff we're seeing here on crude. First of all, bearish this evening in the long term, but definitely has a significant sideways range here in the short term, right? We've seen this ever since Friday morning after non-farms came out. So our plan is to sell at resistance levels and take profit at support levels. I know I sound like a broken record, but it doesn't happen very often, but all three of these markets are very similar in what type of structure we're seeing and in turn what type of strategy we'll be using for tomorrow's session. So our plan is the same thing, sell at resistance, take that profit off at support. We'll also be watching closely for traps at the lows of this range, right? So again, same thing that we spoke about before, right? So let's take a look at this. We got this long-term bear channel, right? We got this long-term bear channel, and right now we are in the process from rotating low to high, then back down to low. So we're definitely looking for the sell side. We've been talking about this for over a week now on crude oil. We still have 60, just a kind of a hop, skip, and a jump away here, but you'll notice, boy, it really hasn't been very sticky over the past, well, Friday and, of course, today's trading session. You can see we didn't even get back to it on Friday, and, of course, Sunday, now Monday evening, we haven't been back to 60 yet. So we may be in store for a test of 60 before we head back lower, but that bear channel tells us stay focused to the sell side. And then we have our trading range here. This trading range, also a huge clue, because we know that trading range tells us the direction that we're moving going into the range, tells us to sell the highs, trap, sell the resistance, fade, right? Sell the resistance, fade. Okay, so we're looking for traps at the highs. We're looking for fades at the resistance areas overhead. Okay, possibly this little shorter term bull channel we found here, right? So that wouldn't be surprising at all to get that as a good selling opportunity there overhead. So what our plan right now is very simple. If we go higher, right? If we go higher, we're looking for traps at the highs. We've got a measured move, right? Measured move resistance there. So if we go higher, again, fade now. If we go higher, fade that range expansion, right? Take that trading range, copy and paste it now. There's your range expansion above. There's your range expansion below. Very easy, right? Very simple technical analysis. So as we go higher here, we'll definitely be looking for selling opportunities there as well, right? I don't think we're going to get that crazy here for tomorrow, but it might. We've got crude oil on the chart here right now, so we know it could definitely move $3 in a heartbeat, right? So that would put us way up top of these areas. So definitely be looking for those selling opportunities up at resistance areas. Remember, we're not just blindly selling. We're looking for the proper entry trigger. Keep that in mind. And then, of course, going forward here now, what if we go lower? If we go lower, again, you could be looking at this as a buying opportunity here for all the bulls out there, right? 58.51, 58.37, 58.33, right? That's a great spot to be a buyer if you're a bull right now. I think you're playing a little bit with fire there just because you are in a bearish, as you can see on the chart, long-term bearish downtrend here, right? But you might be able to get a couple scalps out of that low there, right? But we definitely know, though, that there's going to be a lot of traps down here for the bears. The sellers, be very careful trying to sell that low, right? What I always recommend is wait for some other poor sucker to try to sell that low, right? It'll eventually break out of it, and then stay patient, and wait for price to pull back right to the low of that range, and then we'll look for it, right, as a breakout pullback pattern, right? So don't take it as just a simple breakout below those lows, because you'll lose your money that way. You might get a couple winning trades doing that every once in a while, but over the long period of time, though, it's not going to work very well. So take your time, wait for those traps to get run right over here. Wait for it to really break out, and then now that you're free of those traps, now make sure you wait patiently for that real retest of that channel or of that range low, and you'll get that sell on there. Make sure, though, you really pay attention below that 58.37, at least the first time we break out, because of all those traps. And then as we go lower here, we'll be selling those retracements down to that range expansion target down at 56.91. All right, guys. So again, we know what we look like here right now. I wouldn't be surprised, though, knowing kind of where we're going here. We go from the low up to the high, down to the low, back to the high, right? Wouldn't be surprised if we find ourselves retesting that low, rotating back and forth, and then again finding those traps there, and price comes right back up before we get a real easy opportunity here to sell at those highs. Bottom line, though, very easy strategies across the board here. We're looking for selling opportunities across all three markets for tomorrow. We're looking at channels and ranges, so keep an eye on those resistance areas. Don't force it. Don't predict. wait for all the proper entry triggers. And even though you might be alone at your computer right now, you're not alone in your trading career, guys. I do want to remind you of that. Come out and join me tomorrow as a new student. I'm here to help you make a career out of these financial markets. It doesn't need to be complicated or filled with a bunch of stress and risky trading. It doesn't need to be all over the place. It doesn't need to be moving too quickly and way too complicated systems. We keep it very simple here at School of Trade. So definitely take some time, download the charts for tomorrow, register for the nightly newsletter, grab your free pass, come out and see me as a guest in our trade room. And if you happen to have a couple of free seconds here today, definitely check out our free trial. Our free trial is by far the best in the business. I've been doing this longer than anybody else on the interwebs, and I'll definitely put my money where my mouth is and offer you that free trial so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. We offer 3 levels of membership here at School of Trade: beginner, intermediate, and advanced, and we always have someone standing by 24/7, 365 to answer all your questions and help you get registered either for our trial or any of our membership levels here at School of Trade. My name is Joseph. Once again, happy Mother's Day out there to all the moms. We are just getting started here today for this, what they're calling a third week of the month. The first day of the month was a Friday, so way I see it, it's the second week of the month, but not in the eyes of the financial markets. This is week number 3 of the month of May. Again, very short first week of the month, but cruising our way through this week here. We'll see you guys Monday through Thursday evening this week. I'll also be in the trade room with our members Monday through Friday this week. So make sure you come out and see me. Be well out there. Be nice to each other. And I'll see you guys and gals either tomorrow morning in my trade room at 8 a.m. or tomorrow evening for my newsletter at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Adios, amigos. Bye-bye for now.